Hey folks, I'm Dieter Melhorn, and in this video I'm going to tell you about the #1 all-time best catfish rig. Well folks, if you've been around the catfish world for any amount of time, you're going to hear about the Santee rig. It is a rig that is used to drift, drag, troll for catfish. Basically it's a rig that is designed to be used when the boat's moving, whether by wind or by a trolling motor, and it bumps along the bottom. On one end, obviously, there's a hook. That's the important end. Just up from the hook, you've got a peg float. And that peg float is used to float the bait up off the bottom. Basically suspends it in a suspended presentation away from the bottom where the fish can hit it openly and away from any kind of clutter that's on the bottom of the lake or river. It's got a piece of leader material. Size varies. On the other end, there's a snap swivel. That snap swivel attaches a weight to it, some type of sinker, and then your line ties on to the other end of the snap swivel. Basically, that's all there is to the system. You've got the snap swivel connection, your line ties on to this end of the swivel, your main line goes up, and that's what the drift rig is, the Santee rig. Basically floats up off the bottom. In my opinion, it's the best catfish rig because of its versatility. It really doesn't matter where you're fishing or what style of fishing you're doing. This rig is the best rig, the simplest rig to use in multiple varying situations. It doesn't matter if you're drifting or dragging or if you're anchored, because there's some twists you can do to modify this rig slightly and turn it into what would traditionally be a Carolina style rig without ever having to untie this rig from your fishing line. Now perhaps in the past I would have said that the Carolina rig was a better rig as far as versatility, but since these came out, I have to say it makes this rig the #1 rig to go with for catching catfish, and here's why. What this is the EZ Sinker Slide from Rigrap. It's a way to attach a sinker to your fishing line without having to cut your line and put it on. You can put the sinker on, you can take the sinker off, and it's all done by attaching this EZ Sinker Slide onto your line. Now sinker slides have been around for a long time, but this new little innovation allows you to put it on and take it off your line without ever cutting your fishing line. What this means is if you've been drifting or dragging your baits around and you're using the Santee rig and you decide you want to go anchor up, well, you can easily use the Santee rig just as it is with the drifting weight still attached to it. That's the way I use it a lot of times when I'm fishing in current. But a lot of times people like to have their rig to where it's rigged like a Carolina rig, laying on the bottom with no resistance from the sinker. Well, in this situation, all you need to do is you take off your old drifting weight, you add the EZ Sinker Slide to your line, put whatever the weight is that you want to fish, and then you just slide the slip cork back up to the swivel, and you've got a Carolina rig. It's that easy. Decide you're done anchoring down, you want to go back to a regular Santee rig, you take the sinker slide off of the line, put your drifting weight back on, and you're ready to fish. Now in my opinion, that kind of versatility makes this the #1 all-time best catfish rig to have tied on. The great thing about this rig is it's easy to make at home. All you have to do is snell a circle hook onto one end, add a slip bobber, quart, peg float, whatever you want to call it, some way to float the bait up off the bottom, and on the other end of that leader, you simply tie on a snap swivel, attach your line, attach a sinker, and you're good to go. Now some folks ask me about how long does the leader need to be, what weight line does it need to be made out of. I do mine out of 50 to 60 pound monofilament line, and the length of the leader can vary depending on how high you want to float your bait off the bottom. But ideally, 18 to 24 inches is going to be plenty. There's some rare exceptions where fish are suspended 2-3 feet off the bottom and you may want to go with something longer. But in my opinion, if you go with 18 to 24 inches, that's going to cover the vast majority of the fishing situations that you'll be in. One of the situations where I really like using the Santee rig other than its intended use is when I'm anchored up in some current. It's a great way to suspend bait. The cork or peg float floats the bait up off the bottom in the current. It's a great presentation. It's sitting up there. It helps get, since it's up off the bottom, it actually helps get more scent spread throughout the water column to bring in more fish. And when they get there, they don't have to find it buried down in the dirt or in the silt or behind a rock. It's sitting up there where they can hit it. Well, folks, hopefully that gives you some good information to help you better understand exactly what a Santee rig is and how it works and why I think it's the best catfish rig that you can use. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, smash the thumbs up, and hit that little bell so you'll be notified when any new videos come out. We look forward to seeing you on the water.